summits in her time, but how is the summit being viewed in Russia? Well, let's speak to the Russia editor at BBC Monitoring, Vitaly Shevchenko. Vitaly, thanks for joining us. We've just come out of the G7 summit, awkwardly once upon a time until 2014 called the G8 because of Russia's involvement since 1998. Would that have, do you think, made things a little bit awkward today for President Putin, that reminder that he wasn't invited, NFI?
Well, not really. He spoke to State TV last week and he was asked about G7 and he said, yeah, I was there. I know what it's like. And the body language suggested that he doesn't miss it at all. In terms of how it's looking in Moscow, well, they made it very clear that their expectations are very low. We've been hearing things like no breakthrough. That's the phrase they've been saying time and again over the past couple of days. And they've been saying that relations are at the lowest point. But there's excitement about the fact that the meeting is happening at all. And state television this morning, for example, it said it offers hope to the whole world. And another TV station in Russia said that it's going to be a historic meeting.
Do you think then, given that there is a desire in Russia and amongst the Russian media to get this foreign policy back on track?
Well, obviously there are propaganda benefits to be reaped from this meeting. And it's a very sore point for Vladimir Putin that Russia, he keeps saying Russia is being disrespected by the West. So he clearly wants to be seen meeting the high mighty of this world. And interestingly, the way it's presented by television and key newspapers in Russia is that President Biden almost begged him to come and meet him. And Putin sort of reluctantly agreed. So clearly the message to the public at home, at least, is that Putin is in control. He is, in a way, a victim of blind, irrational aggression or hatred from the West. So he's there to try and talk some sense into Joe Biden.
And I guess this kind of diplomacy that we're going to see from President Biden, a more traditional kind of diplomacy, some would argue, is that, do you think, going to be easier for President Putin to deal with than the kind of diplomacy we saw from President Trump, which, was probably more impulsive?
Well, officially, Russian officials are saying that it's up to the Americans to decide who's running their country. They don't really mind who it is, either Trump or Biden. But one thing that's President Putin demonstrated over these years is that he thrives under pressure. That's why he enjoys all sorts of live appearances. So I'm sure the message that we've seen from the media in Russia, and also the history of President Putin's previous meetings with top leaders, suggests that he's equally comfortable with dealing with anyone. But looking at the messages being spread by state media machine, it seems as though they have more sympathy to Trump, whom they portrayed as a Goliath of sort, or a David rather, fighting the Goliath of the anti-Russian establishment in the US. And Joe Biden, the overarching sentiment towards him is ridicule. He's the butt of many jokes on Russian TV, where commentators question his fitness to govern, his age is being mentioned all the time. So again, the message is that President Putin is head and shoulders above everyone, including the US president.
And very briefly, Vitaly, what do you think a victory would look like for President Putin at the end of this event?
In a way, meeting Joe Biden is victory in itself. Whatever Biden will say after the meeting will be dismissed that, well, it's Russophobia, it's hatred of Russia. They met us, that's good.
OK. Vitaly Shevchenko, thank you very much indeed, the BBC's Russia editor of BBC Monitoring. So here we are still looking at pictures of the scene at Lake Geneva, awaiting President